Chaos Linked Book 1 Deep Breaths Chapter 9 Live. Sonic drifts in his sleep, the sensation of water surrounding him once again. But this time it isn't suffocating. It isn't cold or isolating. It's different. The panic that once clung to him no longer grips his chest. Instead, a warmth lingers within the water. Something steady, something familiar and safe. A presence. Shadow. Even in unconsciousness he can feel it. An anchor tethering him, keeping him grounded instead of drowning. Their connection hums quiet but constant, like a gentle pulse through his very being despite the constant pain. He isn't alone. Not anymore. The weight of solitude, the fear of the void, those feelings no longer consume him like before. He still doesn't like the feeling of being submerged underwater, but he isn't afraid of it in the same way. His new awareness of their connection brings him peace, and as he rests, he holds onto that feeling. Onto Shadow. Tails and Knuckles stand in the darkness of their small holding cell. 1 second the lights had been on and then they felt a big surge and the lights shut off unexpectedly. Suddenly, Tails feels lighter, and he tests his tails with a tentative flick, only to rise a few inches off the ground.
Knuckles! The suppression field! It's gone!
Tails breathes in amazement and relief. He peeks through the small window without having to jump up and down like last time when he heard Tom coming out of his cell. Knuckles flexes his fists, feeling his strength returning in a rush.
Sonic must have knocked out the power,
he says, voice pulsing with excitement as his power surges through him again. He turns to the cell door, drawing his arm back in a tight coil. Tails floats back out of his way, still staying in the air. The metal quakes as he slams his fist into it, the sound reverberating through the corridor. Another powerful blow, and the door wrenches off its hinges, falling outward. Tails hovers behind him. Farther down the hall, guards shout in confusion, their flashlights slashing through the darkness. But they won't need the flashlights for long. The overhead lights flicker suddenly, and they both have to shield their eyes as the power comes back on. To Tails' surprise, he remains hovering. Maybe the main power is back, but not the suppression field. They have to hurry.
We need to find Sonic! He's the reason the power went out! I'm sure of it!
Tails says, voice trembling with urgency as he hovers in place. Knuckles steps through the threshold, fists at the ready.
Then we find him, and when we do, we'll make Gun pay for this.
The warrior breaks into a run, Tails gliding just inches above the floor. Together, they set off into the gloom, hearts pounding with the certainty that they'll do whatever it takes to free their brother. They round a corner and suddenly, a figure steps from the shadows. A gun officer in a standard-issue uniform, weapon drawn. Tails lets out a startled yelp, skidding midair. The soldier's eyes dart from Tails to Knuckles. For a tense moment, no one moves.
Randall!
Tails whispers, recognition dawning on his face. Knuckles' shoulders tense, ready to fight if needed. But instead of barking orders or raising the weapon, Randall slowly lowers it.
Keep your voices down.
He hisses, scanning the corridor for guards.
Look, I had orders all right. I was never on their side. Not really. The entire base is in chaos. If you two stick around here, you'll get caught in the crossfire, or worse.
Tails hovers a few feet off the ground, still happy that he has his ability to fly back.
Why should we believe you?
Randall understands. More than anything, he wishes that he hadn't done what he did.
Because Gun isn't prepared for a crisis like this, and there are good people in the crosshairs. I never wanted any of this. I just followed protocol, but we can't trust them with Sonic. I came here to find you.
Knuckles narrows his eyes, still uncertain. But this new development is better than nothing.
Something we agree on. So what now?
Tails and Knuckles weigh their mistrust of Gun and Randall against their pressing need to find Sonic and escape. Can they really trust him after what he did when they arrived here? Finally, Tails drifts closer to Randall.
Thank you for helping us.
Randall nods.
Don't mention it. I'm sorry they took Sonic away from you. I knew that would happen, but there wasn't much I could do.
Tails blinks. It's not much of an explanation, but he gets it. They all do when it comes to Gun.
Tails? Knuckles?
Inside their holding cell, Tom and Maddie stiffen at the familiar voices outside. Relief crashes over them, but it is quickly overshadowed by an overwhelming urgency. Maddie rushes to the door, pressing her hands against the cold metal as if she could will it to open. Tom moves beside her, fists clenched. The helplessness of being locked inside has gnawed at him for too long, and now that hope is right outside, every second feels agonizingly slow.
Tom? Maddie!
Tails calls through the observation slit. He can just make out Tom's shape.
Stand back, we'll get you out.
Oh, thank goodness. Are you guys alright?
Knuckles smirks, rearing back a fist.
Better than this door is going to be.
Careful, we don't want it caving in on them.
I've got it.
Knuckles growls, pressing his other fist into a narrow seam. With a determined grunt, he forces the door aside instead of punching it inward. Feels so nice to have his powers back. Tom slips out first, quickly helping Maddie. The two look disheveled but otherwise unharmed.
Thank you. We've been trying to break down that door for who knows how long.
What's going on with Sonic? We got some kind of power surge, like the one that happened in Green Hills. Then everything went dark for about a minute, before the lights came back on.
Tails and Knuckles exchange a worried glance.
It was him. I know it was him. They might be doing something to him.
Maddie squeezes Tom's hand.
And let's go. We're done being locked up.
Knuckles steps back into the corridor, scanning both ends for any sign of gun forces. Before Tails can move, Randall emerges from behind a corner. He slows when he sees Tom and Maddie still catching his breath.
You were right, I was there a few minutes ago. Gun isn't only helping Sonic. They're running tests like I said they would, but not the kind of tests that help.
He can already tell what they're thinking, and he knows he deserves it. Randall shifts uncomfortably, lowering his gaze.
I'm on no one's side right now, but yours and Sonic's. I know what Gun is doing, and it's not right.
Maddie studies him a moment, sensing the same tension in Tom's posture.
So you're the one who helped Tails and Knuckles?
I'm trying to make up for some bad decisions. Orders and protocols, they don't matter to me anymore. Not when Sonic's at risk. Not to mention Rachel will never forgive me if I don't help you. You three, that is, not Tom.
Tom gives him a deadpan look at that comment, but then his face softens, though he's still wary.
Then thank you. We just want to get him out of here.
Same. I don't know how long until the suppression field comes back online.
Tails glances nervously down the hall.
Let's not wait to find out.
Knuckles nods curtly, then gestures for them to move.
Come on. We've already spent too long talking. Sonic needs us.
Randall steps to the front with purposeful strides.
I know where they're keeping him. Follow me.
Without waiting for an answer, he motions down a corridor. Tails, Knuckles, Tom, and Maddie fall in behind him, hearts pounding with every frantic step. Occasionally, Randall holds up a hand, listening for guards but hearing nothing. Once he's sure the path is clear, he presses on, leading them deeper into the facility. The door to the control room slides open easily thanks to Randall's keycard, and they rush in at a dead sprint. Kyle stands by the pod just as he finishes refilling it with water to stabilize Sonic, his gaze snapping up at their sudden entry.
Let him go, now.
Tails demands, hovering just inches off the ground, anger burning in his usually gentle eyes. Why can't Gun just leave them alone? His brother needed help, but not this kind of help. Maybe if the stasis pod had been at any other facility, Sonic would be okay, but this is Gun. Tom steps forward, shoulders squared, his voice tight with barely contained rage.
You've done enough. Release him.
Maddie's gaze darts to Sonic.
He can't survive like this. Don't you see what you're doing to him?
He is surviving like this.
Kyle insists, his voice cold and measured as he glances at Tom.
I already told you he needs this pod. It's keeping him alive. Keeping them alive.
The sudden use of the plural them sets off immediate alarm bells for Tom and Maddie, but Kyle offers no explanation. His choice of words only heightens their confusion and concern about what's really going on. Tails and Knuckles don't miss it either. Especially Tails. Tom steps forward, fists clenching at his sides.
You call this living? Look at him!
He points at Sonic. Gun is not helping. He and Maddie had known from the start that they wouldn't, but if they hadn't done what they did, then Sonic would have died, and he can't bring himself to think about that for a second longer.
He's in pain, Kyle. Whatever you're doing, it's not helping.
Maddie backs Tom up, voice trembling but resolute.
He might be breathing. He's dying in front of our eyes.
She presses, glancing between Kyle and the monitors.
How could you possibly think this is okay?
Kyle exhales like he's annoyed with them always interfering, adjusting his glasses.
It's the only way to keep him stable. You think I like to watch him suffer? I'm doing what I have to. He can't survive out here in his current state. And I need him.
Maddie's eyes flash with anger. She's not going to let Gun use Sonic or his powers.
Then find another way. We can't just leave him trapped like this.
Tom stands beside her, inwardly screaming.
You need answers? Fine. We'll figure it out together. But not like this.
Kyle opens his mouth to protest, but before he can speak further, Knuckles doesn't wait for another word. In one swift motion, he strides forward, leaps up and brings a gloved fist down onto the top of Kyle's head with a dull thud. The man crumples to the floor, unconscious.
Knuckles!
Tom shouts, alarmed, even though a part of him feels grim satisfaction.
We needed him to.
But Knuckles is already turning to the stasis pod. Without thinking, he rears back his fist, smashing it against the reinforced glass. A spider web of cracks explodes across the surface.
Wait!
Tom yells, but it's too late. Knuckles delivers another blow, and the glass shatters, sending shards and fluid cascading everywhere. Sonic drops to the pod floor again, yet he immediately struggles to breathe, chest heaving in shallow, labored gasps. Tails darts in, panic flooding his voice.
Sonic, hang on!
Maddie presses a hand to her mouth, eyes widening as she sees the raw agony on Sonic's face.
You needed the pod to stabilize. What have we done?
Knuckles' bravado falters, realization setting in.
I just wanted to save him.
He mutters, kneeling beside Sonic as the hedgehog returns to his trembling form that he had been in before they left for Gun. He sits like he had on the baseball field with Sonic's head in his lap in the center of the now exposed pod. This is all his fault. Tom and Maddie join them, attempting to steady Sonic's limp form. Randall stands guard by the door. A muffled voice calls from the other side, cautious but firm.
Everything all right in there? The Wachowskis and those two other aliens that have escaped.
Tom and Maddie hold their breath, wondering for just a split second if Randall is going to turn on them again. Randall straightens, clearing his throat before responding.
Yes, sir. Just securing the area. No sign of the intruders here.
A brief pause follows, but then the guard speaks again.
The power is back, but the suppression field is still down. It won't be for long, though. We'll have the aliens back in another cell in no time. As for the other two, they better hope we don't find them.
Good. I'll be joining you as soon as I can. Just helping with tests in here.
Randall says, hoping that he sounds believable enough. The guard outside grumbles in acknowledgement and moves on, the sound of footsteps fading down the hall. Sonic's breaths rasp painfully as he loses what little strength he has left. His entire body shakes with each failing inhale, and for a moment, it seems as though he might slip away entirely.
Come on, Sonic!
Tails murmurs desperately. He feels like he's back at the baseball field all over again when Sonic had first collapsed.
Stay with us!
Hope ignites as his brother's eyes slide open slowly and his mouth begins to part like he wants to say something, but they can barely hear. He lifts up a hand, almost like he's reaching for something.
Shadow!
Just as soon as Sonic says that name, his eyes flicker shut again and his hand falls limp. Maddie doesn't know how much more heartbreak she can take, finding herself shaking a little alongside Sonic. Every time she thinks of Tom getting hurt, she thinks of Shadow, and everything he could have taken away from her. Tom might have survived his attack, and it might have been a huge misunderstanding, but her husband had almost been on death's door like Sonic is now. No, she can't think like that. Tails' ears twitch, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face. Tom looks just as confused as them, considering what Sonic had told him about the other hedgehog being dead.
Shadow?
Tails echoes, glancing at Knuckles, who looks just as bewildered.
Why would he say Shadow?
Shadow is gone. He died sacrificing himself in space moving the Eclipse cannon, so why would Sonic say his name? Maddie and Tom remain crouched beside Sonic, trying to keep him conscious. Each ragged breath rattles through his chest. Maddie presses a hand to Sonic's forehead, fear simmering in her eyes as she feels heat returning.
We can't move him like this.
She whispers through her trembling voice. But even if they could move him, there's nowhere to go. Gun won't let them off the island even if it's a matter of life and death for their son. She's not even sure that he should be moved when the one thing he needs is here. The pod might be broken, but maybe Tails can fix it.
I might have a way.
Randall speaks up. They all to look at him at once.
Explain.
Knuckles growls. Randall might be on their side now, but the echidna is still not sure that he fully trusts him.
I don't know how they got them, but Gun has a stash of rings in their base.
He says, and Tom's eyes widen along with his wife's.
I could try to get one for us, and we could get Sonic out of here.
Tom starts to speak like he agrees with the idea, but Tails knows he has to remind him of one very important fact.
But even if we did get a ring, Sonic needs the pod to stabilize.
He points out, shaking his head in distress.
He needs to be here. It's just bad luck that this place happens to be Gun. It's not fair.
Tears begin to slip down his cheeks as he watches Sonic struggle to breathe again. Knuckles places a gentle hand on his shoulder. Tails almost wants to push him away for what he did, but he'd only been trying to help. Tom glances nervously at the shattered stasis chamber and shards of glass lying around them.
Just hang in there.
He sits down beside Sonic and Maddie, placing a steadying hand on Sonic's shoulder, hoping that in some way it will help keep his son calm like Knuckles had managed to do on the baseball field. Maddie shifts to make room, fear warring in her expression as Sonic's labored breathing continues. Tails doesn't know why Sonic said Shadow's name when the other hedgehog is gone, but he knows they can't just stand here watching Sonic slip away. If there's any hope of saving him, they need more information, and the answers might lie in the control panel room.
Stay with Sonic,
he says, determined to help his older brother. He wipes his tears away, examining this room. There might be nothing in here except the broken pod, but maybe in the other room across from them.
We'll find something, anything, to help him.
Knuckles nods firmly, even though he's reluctant to leave Sonic.
We'll be right back.
Tom takes Knuckles' former position, cradling Sonic's head gently as he possibly can. They can't wait around for more guards to barge in, even if Randall is keeping watch. There's also the risk of Kyle waking back up. Without waiting for a response, they hurry to find help, their shoes echoing against the stairs that lead into the panel room.
In here.
Tails says, ears perked for any sign of guards. Knuckles readies his fists, but no one stands in their way. They slip into what appears to be the main control panel room. The faint hum of restored power resonates in their ears. The guard was right that the power is back on, if the overhead lights weren't enough to prove that. Suddenly, Tails feels a slight heaviness creep over his limbs, and Knuckles braces his fists with a grimace. They recognize the familiar prickling sensation. The suppression field is coming back online, quietly dampening their powers. Tails casts a worried glance at Knuckles, his eyes confirming the same realization. Time is running out and they'll both be weakened again, not to mention Sonic even more than he already is. Tails quickly darts to the nearest active console.
Maybe I can reroute some of the power to the stasis system from here.
Murmurs thoughtfully, studying the panel. It can't be too difficult, but he can't afford to make any mistakes. This is about his brother.
At least enough to help Sonic breathe. But it won't be the same without the water. Since the glass is broken and can't hold any, he won't get all of the benefit.
And it's all because of me.
Knuckles thinks, wishing he had thought things through more clearly before breaking the glass.
Just hurry. We don't have time.
He says. Every second they waste talking is another second that their brother might not make it. Tails' eyes narrow as he scans the active interface, each beep echoing in the tense silence. He presses the glitching panel a few times, unsure where it might lead, but each time he presses down, the information on the panel changes. They don't like the sound of Deep Sleep Protocol as it flashes at them for a few seconds. Tails' fingers start to fly over the control panel, his mind racing as he navigates through the damaged interface that had been affected, even all the way in this room. Sparks flicker from exposed wiring, possibly from Sonic's outburst and not just Knuckles' split-second decision to destroy the pod. He ignores the destruction, focusing only on one thing, keeping Sonic alive. The air circulation system. If he can restore that, at least Sonic will be able to breathe properly, even without the stabilizing effects of the liquid. His eyes dart across the flickering screens, scanning for the right system. Oxygen regulation. There. He presses several buttons, rerouting power where he can. The interface glitches, flickering between various protocol names, the deep sleep protocol, force stabilization, emergency power override. His stomach twists at the words flashing before him, but he doesn't have time to dwell on what they mean. Right now, he just needs to make sure Sonic gets air.
Come on, come on!
He mutters, adjusting parameters, working around broken circuits. The panel beeps in protest, but then suddenly, a new hum vibrates through the room. A rush of air hisses from the vents along the pod space in the other room. It's not much, but it's something. Sonic takes in a slow, shuddering breath, the tension in his face easing just slightly. It's not perfect. It's nowhere near what he needs, but it's something. Knuckles watches from behind the control room glass wall as Sonic's chest rises and falls with a little more steadiness, but the sight does little to ease the guilt gnawing at him for what he'd done without thinking.
Is it enough?
He asks, his voice low. Tails hesitates before shaking his head. He doesn't want to lie to Knuckles.
No, but it'll buy us some time.
He doesn't have any choice but to hope that time is enough. If only there was more glass somewhere, maybe he could try to fix the pod. But Tails doubts that extra glass is laying around somewhere. This is also an entire system that he doesn't know the ins and outs of. Tails turns back to the console, adjusting a few more parameters, locking the airflow into place. Without warning, a new data window that Tails hadn't meant to activate pops up labeled Project Shadow.
This must be what Kyle was doing.
Tails says, scanning the on-screen text. He lifts his hands off the panel so they don't accidentally switch to something else.
Records indicate a waveform synchronization test.
Underneath the text sits lines of data and two waveforms moving together. One glowing blue, the other red. Both pulse on the monitors, eerily in sync. Knuckles steps closer, his curiosity and worry mixing together all at once. What could this possibly have to do with their brother? How could these screens help him recover?
What is that?
They're energy readings.
Tails explains, voice tight with a mix of curiosity and dread. They almost remind him of the X-ray machine at the vet, but just different information and how it's acquired.
These are from Sonic and Shadow? They're almost identical. No, they're actually synchronizing.
Tails would have thought that these were old readings from when Shadow had last been here in the facility, but the date on the screen is from today. Or at least what he thinks is today. How much time has passed since they arrived? There hadn't been a clock in their cell. Knuckles watches the two lines pulse in perfect tandem, hearing the simultaneous beeping. Tails isn't making this up.
So that's why Kyle kept pushing Sonic with whatever he was doing. He was trying to connect him to Shadow somehow.
The fox can't tear his eyes away from the screen, his ears twitching at the synced beeping noises, perfectly in tandem.
No, I think Sonic and Shadow are linked. This must be how Kyle discovered it. He then tested the energy synchronization on Sonic until he caused the power outage.
Anger burns through Knuckles like nothing else at the thought of Gun hurting his little brother, and also surprised that the more impressive Hedgehog might still be alive when they had thought he wasn't.
Then this must mean that Shadow is alive.
If these readings are right, forcing Sonic's energy out was Kyle's way of maybe drawing out Shadow out of hiding, or at least his power.
Tails hesitates, turning to Knuckles with dawning horror.
But if they really are that connected, maybe the only way Sonic can fully recover is if Shadow is in close proximity. Like he needs Shadow's presence to stabilize. And maybe it's the same with Shadow. Maybe they need each other to stabilize.
Knuckles stares at the monitor in disbelief, and Tails just as much. Is this what that man had meant by keeping them alive? What could have caused Sonic and Shadow to come together like this?
We have to tell them.
Right.
Knuckles agrees. Who could have guessed that Shadow is alive, and he and Sonic would be physically connected somehow? Is that why Maddie hadn't been able to find anything on the X-ray? They hurry back toward the stasis chamber, or what's left of it, armed now with unexpected knowledge of Shadow's role in all of this. Tails' mind reels as he runs, piecing it all together. No wonder Sonic has been in so much pain, and none of them had known the reason. Why neither Maddie or Gun had been able to find anything right away. They're too late to undo the damage. The stasis pod is irreparably broken, and Sonic's condition is dire. All they can do is hope that it's not too late. A chill of realization settles in Tails' stomach. If Sonic truly needs Shadow to stabilize, then how do they even find him wherever he is now? Along with that realization, hopelessness begins to fight its way in. They have no leads, no coordinates, and Sonic is too weak to tell them anything to confirm if this theory is more than just a theory. Does Sonic himself even know? But if it's real, they need to find a ring like Randall had said he would. But even with a ring, finding Shadow will be impossible. Shadow drifts in and out of consciousness, the weight of exhaustion pressing down on him like an iron chain. But something shifts. A warmth stirs within the emptiness, a pulse of energy brushing against his own like a whisper in the dark. A presence. Even in his weakened state, he feels it. Something threading through the ache, a tether grounding him instead of letting him slip further into the void. Their connection hums quiet but constant, like a steady rhythm beneath the fatigue and pain. He isn't alone. Not anymore. The silence that has stretched for too long fades, replaced by something solid, something real. The pain still lingers, but it's no longer absolute. The darkness no longer feels infinite. For the first time in what feels like forever, there is warmth. A warmth that comes from someone else far away. Shadow exhales a slow, steady release as he lets himself hold onto it, sending the same energy back. He isn't sure how, isn't sure why, but it doesn't matter. Because for the first time since falling back to Earth, he knows. He isn't lost. Someone is there. And he is not alone, even as the overwhelming pain comes surging back.